Hi everyone, I'm Josh Tank, forester for the Soil and Water Conservation District for Pine County and Kanabec County. Today we're going to be talking about buckthorn. Buckthorn is a non-native invasive bush that many people are familiar with, and many more landowners each year are becoming aware of its presence, either in natural areas around them or even on their property. In this video, we're going to touch on a few things. We're going to start with the origin and natural history of buckthorn, and then we're going to talk about topics on how to identify buckthorn. And then finally, we'll talk about topics on how to control and manage and hopefully eradicate buckthorn on your property. Let's get started. Buckthorn was not originally found in Minnesota, nor found in the United States. It's actually native to Europe, parts of Africa, and parts of Asia. It was brought to the United States in the 1850s. They brought it over to use as an ornamental hedgerow. However, even though it was able to be controlled in Europe, it wasn't able to be controlled here, and it quickly spread out of its range and invaded natural areas and lawns. Buckthorn is a problem for native ecosystems because it degrades wildlife habitat and outcompetes native vegetation. A couple of ways that it outcompetes native vegetation is through their leaves. In the spring, buckthorn will oftentimes leaf out earlier than other plants. And in the fall, when most plants have already dropped their leaves, buckthorn still retains their leaves. This allows them, in part, to photosynthesize more than native vegetation and to get more energy over them. But also, since they have their leaves out earlier and longer, they can shade out native vegetation, preventing them from the ability to photosynthesize. Another way that they outcompete native vegetation is that buckthorn produces a lot of berries, and each berry contains about 2 to 3 seeds. Birds oftentimes eat lots of buckthorn berries, but they're not very nutritional for birds, and they act as a diuretic, meaning the birds will eat them and immediately expel them, furthering the spread of buckthorn. And since the spread is being furthered because of the spread of the seeds, buckthorn proliferates and grows very, very quickly in a space. So even without the leaves, the twigs and the stems and the sticks of buckthorn can crowd out the space for native vegetation to move and grow. Buckthorn is also a problem because it degrades wildlife habitat. One way it does this is that the dead and fallen leaves of buckthorn actually, when they decompose, create changes in soil nutrients and soil pH. This can be disadvantageous to native plants and change the amount of native plants that come back in the area. Another way that they degrade wildlife habitat is that they actually have a relatively shallow root system. So if a shoreline or a stream bank is invaded or outcompeted by buckthorn, that stream bank is actually a lot more susceptible to erosion problems. Finally, last but not least, buckthorn is also found to be an overwintering host for the soybean aphid. So farmers who have soybean fields that are bordered by woodlands invaded by buckthorn are at a higher risk of losing crops because of the aphid that's being able to stay over winter and be protected because of the buckthorn.